All right, hey folks, how you doing? We're going to do some color magic design for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. One of my favorite projects, my first project that I ever did, and an ongoing project even today, is the color mana spell point variant rules, where Magic the Gathering color mana system is used to replace the spell slots and Vancian magic system of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It's on the DMsGuild. I'll show you guys a link to it here in a few minutes. But it looks like my signal is coming through okay. So I'm going to do some quick social media updates, go through my intro here real fast, and then we'll get to work on rebuilding the 2014 Cleric subclasses for use with the 2025 game rules and the revised color mana system that will be updating our books on the DMsGuild. So give me a second here. I'm going to jump over and do some social media posting here real quick. And if you're already familiar with my origin story, you can, and you're catching this on replay, you can skip past this next bit and catch me after the bump. But if you're new to the channel or caught here in space-time with me here now, my name is Phil Kearney. Hey, I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, I publish them online, and I'm creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I've been a DM since 1987. I've been a Magic the Gathering enthusiast since, I think, 1994. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999. And the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica came out in 2016 for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Me and a whole bunch of other people were really excited that we would, okay, so Wizards, when they would, in 3rd edition, when they made a new setting or like a new type of like a shadow mage, right? A shadow caster. They created a whole shadow magic system for the shadow caster. And when they came out with Magic Incarnum, they created an entire Incarnum magic system to use with Incarnum. And when they came out with Book of Nine Swords, they came up with an entire martial power system to use with the Book of Nine Swords. So when Wizards of the Coast is publishing Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica in 2016, there's a lot of excitement about potentially seeing the color mana system converted into the D&D 5e game engine. But the new philosophy that we didn't really know that Wizards had adopted was, whatever it is that you're doing with your narrative, boil it down so it works with the rules that are already in the player's handbook, so you don't divide the base across multiple rule segments that don't necessarily interact with each other well. Good decision from a foundational perspective, since D&D is basically building the foundation of what the 5e game engine is. Them having a very minimalist philosophy like that actually benefits the community as a whole. I get the wisdom to it, but boy, it was really disappointing reading about the guilds of Ravnica expressed as though they were just normal D&D characters with the 8 schools of magic, and their identity not really having anything to do with the kind of casting that they did. So that inspired me to create the color mana spell point variant rules, which replaces Vancian magic, spell slots, and the 8 schools of magic with the 5 colors. I've finished doing my social media posts, so let me go ahead and update my stuff here real quick with you, and then we'll get to work. So if you think today is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when I'm live in the future, because I am here 9 times per week, Monday through Friday in the morning. I do artwork, Tuesday, Friday lunch, Monday, and Thursday night, like tonight. I do game design, and right now we're rebuilding the color mana system to work with the new 5e24 mechanics. So my rules are built for 2014. They work well enough, but I've ran 3 campaigns over the past 8 years, going from level 1 to 20. And over the course of that time, we've discovered a number of ways of improving the color mana system. And with 5e24 coming down, perfect opportunity for me to rebuild the books, update the system so it flows more smoothly and intuitively for people, and it just becomes a better offering altogether. So if you already have the book, just keep an eye out. When it's updated, you'll have free access to the update as well. All you gotta do is just click to update your version, and you can download a fresh version of that. Anyone else that's out there that's interested in Magic the Gathering in your D&D games, here is the entire series of books. You click on that, it'll pop open the 7 books that are related to the system that we've developed. This is the most recent one, which is the revised 5-color mana spell list. Originally, each spell was devoted to only 1 color of magic each, but now, after a number of campaigns, we're seeing that me and my table, we can see that having spells and powers operate in multiple colors makes it easier for you to narrate the kind of characters that you want. So it's 1-to-1 spell point ratio. First level spell costs 1 spell point. 9th level spell costs 9 mana. A 9th level spell should be 9 times more powerful than a first level spell. It's just logical. So make it a 1-to-1 ratio. If you want to throw, say, a 3rd level spell, which is a fireball. This is my favorite example. If you want to throw a fireball, fireballs are red spells. Classically a red spell. It takes 3 mana to cast it. 1 point is devoted to red, and the other 2 points can be devoted to any color that you want. Whenever you take a rest, whether a short or long rest, however much mana you have in your mana pool, you can decide how much of it is any color that you want. White, blue, black, red, green are the 5 colors. I could have an entirely red mana pool right now. I take a short rest, and maybe I want half of my mana to be white instead. So I have now red and white in my mana pool. And as you can see here, like Daylight is a white and green spell. Crusader's Mantle is a white spell. Fireball is a red spell. Fly is a blue or green spell. So like, even though it costs 3 mana to cast it, if I spend at least 1 point of blue or green, I can cast the Fly spell. So it's really generous and easy to use the system, but at the same time, if I run out of red mana, I can't throw any more fireballs. So there's a little bit of control and foreplanning that you need in there, which is a good balance point to how powerful spellcasting really is. And then if you really wanted to, you can change the color of a spell so you have just 1 color in your mana pool, and you can spend downtime to research spells to change their color. Instead of creating spells, you can just change the colors that a spell is devoted to. Or if you really need something on the fly, you can prepare the spell, and then you can prepare it a second time to be the color that you want to. So if you would normally be a white-green mana sort of character because you love Selesnya, and you want to throw a fireball, which is a red spell, you could learn it to be a white spell if you wanted to, dealing fire damage like usual, just using white magic to cast it. Or you could prepare fireball and then prepare it a second time as a white spell, so that you can use your white mana in your Selesnya character identity of white-green magic to now throw the spell. So you have limitations on what spells, what spells are naturally devoted to, is on this list, and there's an editable spreadsheet that you get with it when you download it. So you can change the spells to whatever colors you want to make your. If you disagree with me, or if you feel like there should be white on Fireball for some reason, then you could just go and edit it and just add white. I give you the tools to do that, so you have the list for yourself. Anyway, that's the basic mechanics of it. And then we have all of the actual mechanics for like how to convert characters, like the spell point Warlock. How does a Warlock use spell points and color mana? Elemental Key is the way of the 4 elements, which is out of date now, but is a really cool mechanical concept. And you actually see a ton of the stuff, class features that are in my version of this are actually in the Elementalist, so I was really happy to see that. Core Mechanics deals with all the full casting classes and half casters. Arcane Trickster, Knights and Tricksters is Arcane Tricksters and Eldritch Knights, and changing that subclass to work with the color mana system. Here's just a fun little coupon thing that I made. It's pay what you want, but if you pick it up as pay what you want, you get a $1.50 discount. Universal Spell Points is get rid of color identity, just a very good mana point system, just a generic spell point system that you can use with any kind of magic template that you want. It's very cheap, and all that together is 36% off. So that's my bundle. I talk about that. I make books, I publish them, and then I sell them online. So if you dig this type of stuff, consider picking it up to support the effort. Here's a bunch of other books that I've made. They all have free preview. And that's my timer to tell me to get to work. So like I said, you think this stuff is cool? Tag along. Oh yeah, tagging along. The playtest document here, if you click the Martial Powers playtest doc, it'll pop open a read-only document. It's got everything about 2024 class conversions into the mana system, as well as some color philosophy stuff that's in here. And if you kick all the way down to page 130 something, beep beep beep, this is Druids. Here we are. Clerics are at page 140. When we last left off, we were updating the Forsaken Cleric subclasses. These are subclasses from 2014 that didn't make it into the player's handbook, but we still want to have identities for. We're already seeing Unearthed Arcana coming out, converting some of these Forsaken subclasses back into the 5e24 chassis. So we'll be looking at those UAs. They have that for the Grave Domain and the Knowledge Domain so far. So we can use actual 5e24 UA content to build these and then convert those into the color mana system. Meanwhile, I was choking on the Death Domain, and I was having a hard time figuring out why exactly am I having so much trouble. It's because it's so similar to the Grave Domain. I think the Grave Domain was actually intended to replace the Death Domain. That's something I believe. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but the Death Domain and the Grave Domain have a ton of similar class, like their spell list is really similar, and I think the Grave does a better job looking at life and death from a Grave perspective, while the Death Domain is pretty much focused on dealing necromancy like necrotic damage and raising dead. So it's very much like a death priest, like a necromancer priest is kind of how the death domain is coded, while the Grave Domain is more about controlling life and death itself, like bringing people back or sending them to the grave, as it were. So we're going to stick with the Grave Domain version, which gives me the freedom to just completely rebuild the Death Domain as I want. So I really want to lean into the undeath of the Death Domain. So it's already set up as basically like a cleric necromancer, and that's how I want to approach it. But since necromancy isn't a school in the 5-color magic system from MTG, it's not really, you don't really, I mean, you can call someone a necromancer if they're making undead, sure, but that's just a slur. It doesn't have a technical term anymore. So as such, let's get to work. We'll look at Death Domain. I think we're doing right here, right? Yeah, we're doing right. Let's grab this and drop it down into its own thing. So we can click back up here to the Death Domain, and over here to the Death Domain, we've got our spells. And now I want to go into the 5e24 color magic list and look at rebuilding this. Let's rebuild the spell list. Let's lean into I'm an evil necromancer death god cleric. Let's lean into that motif and see what cool stuff we might be able to find and fish out of here. So let's look at the spell Evil and Good. D&D Beyond. I'm interested in the Forge Wonders book. Dispel. Good or evil? Yeah, there it is. Interesting. They've changed the title. Now it's just the Player's Handbook, not 2024, just Player's Handbook, and then there's 2014 Legacy. That's how they're currently operating these things. For the duration, Celestials, Elementals, Fae, Fiends, and Undead have disadvantages on attack rolls against you. You can end the spell early by using either of the following special functions. You can end the spell early. Okay. As a magic action, you can touch a creature that is possessed by or has the charmed or frightened condition. For one of those creature types, the target is no longer possessed. As a magic action, you target one creature that you can see within 5 feet of you that has one of the creature types above. Target must succeed a charisma saving throw or be sent back to its home plane if it isn't there already. If they aren't on their home plane, undead are sent to the Shadowfell, and Fae are sent to the Feywild. Dispel Evil and Good could make sense. I'm not opposed to it. Contagion isn't bad. I like that. Anti-life shell. Let's do that. Yeah, okay. Anti-life shell, cloud kill. I'm good with those. 4th level. Let's see. Click. Blight, Death. I mean, Death Ward makes sense. I'm not automatically going with Death Ward makes sense. Like Phantasmal Killer is. I don't think that's a horrible idea. I think Grave gets Death Ward. If Grave gets Death Ward, I don't want to give it Death Ward. Wait, what? Dispel Good and Evil is 4th? How is... They screwed up. Dispel Evil and Good is a 5th level spell. You can't have access to it at 7th level. That's wrong. Huh. Gentle Repose. I like the idea of Grave. I like that on Grave. Blight, not so much. I like Blight on. Yeah, I like Hold Monster, Raise Dead. Those feel good for Grave. I don't want Blight. I don't want this. Oh, obviously not Dispel Evil. Okay, so let's skip that. Let's see. Conjure, Control. Okay, Death Ward. Yeah, that'll work. We're in a pinch. We'll go with it. We gotta replace Death. We gotta replace Blight though, because Grave gets it. I don't want to be too. I want to be different. I want to be different. Summon, Stone, Stagger, Polymorphin. I kind of like Phantasmal Killer. Yeah, let's do it. 3rd for you is Revivify and Vampiric Touch, huh? Death Ward and... What is going on? There we go. Speak with Dead makes so much sense. Animate Dead. Fuck you, Summon Dead. There's Summon Undead and then there's Animate Dead. Both of those belong on the 3rd level list. For sure. Let's replace Ray of Enfeeblement. Okay, so we only have to replace 1 2nd level spell. That's good. Got rid of that. Surely. There's going to be something that fits in here. Shit. Kind of madness? Maybe? Do I already have Gentle Repose? It's on this list. I don't want to duplicate it. I could duplicate if I want to. It's a self-imposed rule. I can break my own rules if I choose, but I don't have to. I'd rather not. Raven Feeblement's on both of them, right? Sure is. Note Trick, Shatter, Shine, Suggestion, Summon, Warding, Bond, Zone of Truth, Shice. Alright, we'll dupe it. There. Okay, at least we got through it. So, third level, we're changing features here. Level 6, when you deal necrotic damage, it cannot be resisted. I like that. Touch of Death. You use your channel additional necrotic damage. I'm cool with that. Reaper, let's go with... what is the Reaper feature supposed to be? Because I feel like I'm just going to replace it. But let's find out what it is first. Okay, there it is. Learn. The cleric learns when the necromancy spell... Let's do this instead. You choose any 2 cantrips to add to your choose any 2 cantrips, add them to the list of cantrips you know. And when you deal damage with a cantrip, you can choose to deal necrotic damage instead of the spell's normal damage type. And then Touch of Death is when you hit a critter, you use Channel Divinity to deal additional necrotic damage. In level 6, Inescapable Destruction, when you deal necrotic damage, it cannot be resisted. But I think I want to replace that. It's cool, but I think I got better. And I think there's necrotic stuff that goes on with the Grave Domain now. So I'm gonna ditch that. Touch of Death I'm cool with. Reaper, I think that's great. You can choose to deal necrotic damage instead of the spell's normal damage type. Right. It's cool, but there's not a lot of stuff that's resistant to necrotic damage anyway. So let's just scrap that. Let's go with Persistent Undeath. How about Deathly Allegiance? When you use the That's not good. Whew. I actually selected all and then typed over it, and there was a time delay. When you hit when you so definitely allegiance. When you When you create undead with the animate dead spell. When you create undead with the animate dead spell, control over the creatures created are persistent spell effects for you. When you, instead of a creature created this way, requiring, instead of casting animate dead again to retain control of the creatures created this way, you can, when you finish a long rest, you can expend any number of mana to retain control of a number of creatures equal to the amount of mana expended this way. So if you know, if you read the book, and we've done this in previous, I won't go there now, but persistent magic is when you cast the spell, it stays active until you finish a long rest. You don't have to maintain concentration on it. It can be dispelled, but basically once you cast it, it's done and it stays till you finish a long rest. And then when you finish your long rest, you can expend that, like water breathing is a 3rd level spell. When you finish a long rest, you could expend that, you could leave that 3 mana burned basically, and the water breathing spell stays active. Instead of having to cast it again, it just stays on. It's just persistent. It just stays on forever. As long as you leave the mana spent, the spell stays active. Unless somebody dispels it, then you have to cast it again like normal. But once you turn it on, you can just leave it on by leaving the mana burn. It's kind of like when you maintain concentration, you tap mana. When you make a spell, when a persistent spell, when you retain a persistent spell, you just basically leave the mana spent. Either leave mana tapped to maintain concentration, or you leave mana spent for a persistent spell to remain on after you finish a long rest. So the way that this works then is that you can, say a 20th level cleric has 20 mana. So when you finish your long rest, you get 80 mana. You have 20th level cleric, 80 mana. When you finish a long rest, you get all of your mana, 80 mana back. If you have 80 undead under your control from the animate dead spell, when you finish your long rest, you can just dump all 80 mana to be spent, and you'll now only be able to cast cantrips today, but you automatically retain control of those 80 undead. So you take the time to build this army, and then you can cash out your mana pool to retain command of them. That might not be a very that might be inconvenient to DMs that aren't familiar with mass combat mechanics that we have. But we have mass combat mechanics. 80 undead can fit inside of a 50-foot square to become a legion of undead that you could command as a single legion at the 50-foot scale of combat, like we do with the Spelljammer combat and exploration mechanics. So, but we're building out the mob rules for that, so keep an eye out for that. So definitely legions. When you create undead with the animate dead spell, and if you want to cast, so you have a 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th level spell slot from level 11 to 19. And that requires 40 mana to cast all 5 of those spell slots. If you want to cast a whole bunch of spells at 10th level, you could do that, and it would cost you 50 mana instead of 30. So you're giving up, you have to, basically half your mana pool has to remain open so you can cast high magic. So you're going to have a natural barrier to how much undead you're willing to maintain command of at any given time. But you can certainly create a bunch of it and just let it go free. But again, it would attack you as well. So anyway, that's the idea. So variant, Deathly Allegiance, good to go. Improved Reaper. Nope. Undead Thralls. Let's do this instead. One with the grave. One with death. Period. But creatures that are immune to necrotic damage are still immune. Let's see. How do I want to do this? Oh yeah, I had thoughts. Hold on, I have thoughts. Sixth level, create undead. See, it's just the player's handbook now. It's not even the 2024 book. But it's basic rules 2014 legacy. See? We're gonna give you a souped up version of create undead as your 17th level feature. You can cast a spell only at night. Choose up to 3 corpses of medium or small humanoids. You add the create undead spell. You always have the create undead spell prepared, and you aren't limited to casting it at night, period. Undead created this way are affected by your Deathly Allegiance spell. Class feature. Are also affected. In addition, when you deal necrotic damage, it cannot be resisted. And creatures immune to necrotic damage are only resistant. Only have creatures immune to necrotic damage only resist necrotic damage you deal. Boy, what a circular statement. When you deal necrotic damage, it cannot be resisted, and creatures immune to necrotic damage only resist necrotic damage you deal. And creatures that are immune only resist the necrotic damage you deal. When you deal necrotic damage, it cannot be resisted, and creatures that are immune only resist the necrotic damage you deal. That makes more sense because I'm just having a brain rot there. If your damage cannot be resisted and immune creatures have resistance, then their resistance is irrelevant because your resistance cannot be resisted, which means that creatures that are immune would become resistant, which becomes no resistance at all. That's a broken statement. So I see why we would have to reword it so that if you're immune to necrotic damage, instead you're going to take half damage from it, while resistant creatures have no resistance at all. They take full damage. There you go. That makes sense. Yeah, I like that. I think it's pretty. Let's mess around with the Forge domain. See where this adventure takes us. I love building these things. It's super fun. Yep, we're good. There's technically no... I don't think there's a cap on how many undead you can create this way. Yeah, there's no... Yeah, there's no limits on them. Okay, cool. All right, what are we working on now? Forge. Excellent. Domain spells, bloody blah. Let's go with our Forge domain. First, identify Syrian Smite. Heat metal, magic weapon. Elemental weapon, protection from energy, fabricate wall of fire, animate object, creation. What do we have? Forge domain, grave domain, knowledge domain, nature domain, order domain, peace domain, tempest domain, twilight domain. We have 8 of these to go. 2 of them are already written up for us. We just gotta translate them. The rest of them need full conversions. So maybe we can get done with this today. I'm giving myself technically till 9 o'clock. If I can end, I'll end sometime before or by 9 o'clock. And the goal is to get close enough to done that we can wrap this up tomorrow. So, let's see. Blessings of the Forge. You gain proficiency in heavy armor and 2 artisan tools of your choice. And let's crack open a Word doc, a notepad, so we can copy, cut, paste. At first level, you can at the end of long rest. When you finish a long rest, you can touch one non-magical object that is a suit of armor or a simple or martial weapon until the end of your next long rest, or until you die. The object becomes a magical weapon, granting a +1 bonus to AC if it's armor, or +1 bonus to attacking damage roll if it's a weapon. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. Yeah, I think that's fair. And then level 3 feature is Artisan's Blessing. It's kind of a redundant thing. In addition, starting at second level, you can use your channel divinity to create simple items. The things you create can be something no more than 100 gold. Huh. Sure, okay. No, I get it. I'm into it. No. Okay, like that. Like that. You can expend a use of your channel divinity. You can expend a use of your channel. You can expend a use of channel divinity to create simple items. Simple non-magical items that must include some metal. See equipment. The thing appearing. The thing you create can be something that is worth no more than 100 gold pieces. As part of their ritual, must lay out the metal, which can include coins with a value equal to the creation. The metal irretrievably coalesces and transforms into the creation at the ritual's end, magically forming even non-metal parts of the creation. The ritual can create a duplicate of a non-magical item that contains metal, such as a key, if you possess the original during the ritual. Of a unique non-magical item that contains metal, such as a key. I like that. The creation appears in an unoccupied space of your choice, on a surface within 5 feet of you. The ritual requires any raw material that the DM determines, agrees is appropriate, plus agrees is appropriate, plus coins. Including coins that equal the value of the item created up to 100 GP in value, period. That correlates with the common magic item list that we created for the crafting system in the Bastion campaign book that we've been working on. So that's self-referential there, and I like that. And you can create and you can duplicate a unique there. I like that wording better. Hey, what's up? Hey, Tyler, how you doing, my guy? What's up, bro? Well, shit, man. Thanks for swinging by. Glad to have you. We're rebuilding cleric subclasses, y'all. So Artisan Blessings. This is like the slowest burn channel divinity ever. I don't think there's any other examples of a channel divinity that requires an hour ritual to use. That kind of puts a hard cap on how much you're gonna want to use channel divinity in that way, doesn't it? This is like the divine version of the artificer's ability to just create objects, or I guess the artificer is the arcane version of the forge cleric, right? Same, I guess it's like 6 or a half dozen. Take your pick. Level 6. What are we doing here? Soul of the Forge. Let's go to here. Paste, cop, plup, clump. You gain resistance to fire damage, and while wearing heavy armor, you gain a +1 bonus armor class. Okay. What else you got? Jesus. Okay. It's kind of disarming. Pardon the pun, I guess. At 17th level, this one is what? What's this one called? What were these called? Why am I chasing this is? Divine Strike, Soul of the Forge. What else? What is this saying? You gain the ability to infuse your weapon strikes with fiery power of the Forge. Once in each of your turns, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can cause the attack to deal an extra block fire damage. That feels awful death cleric-y. Yeah, and it gets necrotic at 3rd. Oh yeah, but you have to burn a channel divinity to do it. This one's just, you get it. You just automatically deal the damage. I don't know if that's really necessary. Faithless, in my opinion. Ah! Sharp. I'm an elementalist. In up until 5th edition, honestly, up until 5th edition, like all throughout 2nd and 3rd edition, I used Ephesian clerics on all my campaigns. They're all elemental all the time. And you had the eight gods of the elemental, like the eight arch elementals, and there was like good and evil for each of them, and they were opposed to each other, and that's how, I had basically a large good evil sort of dichotomy in my campaigns, and it was all, yeah, it was all elemental based. It simplified, to me, that simplified everything so that you could either worship a god, which was like a persona that was acknowledged associated with an element, or you could just be into like animus or like elemental spirits, so that like you could have a fire cleric that didn't worship like Zeratel. Instead, it was just, you just bonded with, like, you would light a fire as your prayer, and you'd be able to speak or commune with the flame that you lit, and then utilize it to do magical stuff. And then the druid was able to, like the avatar basically, was able to utilize all the elements with nature together to be able to create new life. So I really love the Athasian elemental cleric system, like, a lot. I really thought that was fun. And when I inevitably build my own 5e game system and publish it on ttrpg or wherever, it'll be instead of the color magic system or the 8 Vancian magic, it'll be a robust magic system. It'll be the 8 elements, and then the 4 elements, the four para elements inside of them, and then radiance and necrotic damage. So I'll have that hexagon, that hex magic, that 6 points of magic as opposed to the 5 colors. So, and I'll have everything framed that way. So we'll build the rules, just like with Magic the Gathering. We'll build out all the rules, the tenets of how those things work, flesh it out. You can see some of that work in the Elemental Keybook that we have published on DMsGuild. It's linked down below in the MTG set. That's the basics of it. But like, you can blend, you know, like air and water to get like mist. So you have like fog spell and like mirror image, misty hop, stuff like that. You can cheat all these like little in between type of mechanics. Like, where does Phantasmal Killer fit inside of an elemental game system? If you're looking at like mind magic as air, if that's how you frame it, then Phantasmal Killer becomes basically a cloud that you see. And illusion spells in general are either going to be mist or air. And then mist is an offshoot of air. Like air and earth is dust or like grit. So there's a lot of fun ways you can mess around with the elements. The para elements, I think, are really great. So having that blend of elements gives you, I think, as much narrative depth in expressing your characters as the color magic system does, without being redundant. So I liked it. Anyway, that's the path that I would follow. I'm not 100% sure if I'm ever going to make my own 5e game system, because I like the color magic system. It works well, but I will definitely be building my own D20 game, the Guild Delvers RPG. Looks like the trademark on that's going through. So I like the system. It's been working well. We've been playtesting it at my home table for the past year. I'll probably start playtesting it off of my Discord server probably in February, I think, of 2026. And we'll start slowly building momentum towards that as stuff that we do on stream. So what's up? You're finishing up your avoidance. I saw that you posted stuff about that. I haven't had an opportunity to sit down and chew on it. Nice. Trying to focus on actual tanks, including taunting and dice mechanics. Is a point tank. Hey, that's cool. You know how in favor I am of tank and like control, like actual like hard control builds in 5e. Elements are just as crucial as the characters as magic. Yeah. Think about a guy who is covered in burned scars. A lot of reasons why you can't cast what? Wind? Exactly. Yeah. Fun. It's fun. It's just fun. All right. So let me. You got me reminiscing here, man. I'm off script. Blessings to the Forge. That looks good now. That looks good. Oh, that's what we were doing. Messing around with Soul Forge. You gain resistance to fire damage and while wearing heavy armor. That was 6. We were looking at the forge damage, doing the extra fire damage. I don't think you fucking need it, buddy. To be perfectly honest, I don't think it's... If it were to be someplace, it'd be here, Soul Forge. You gain resistance to fire damage, and while wearing heavy armor, you gain a +1 bonus to armor class. In addition, yeah, we'll put it here. In addition, when you hit with a melee weapon Is it melee weapon attack or any weapon attack? In addition, when you deal damage, when you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack, you deal an additional 1d8 fire damage. And we'll kick all the way up to here. You gain immunity to fire damage. While wearing heavy armor, you have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical attacks. Your cleric features improve, period. You gain immunity to fire damage. While wearing heavy armor, you have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical attacks. Damage you deal with a melee weapon attack improves from 1d8 fire damage to 2d8 period. And when you use the Blessings of the Forge, the bonus increases from +1 to +3. There, that taps all of it, except for the Artisan's Blessing. Except for Artisan's Blessing, that doesn't change. Oh, and yeah, fuck it. When you use the Artisan's Blessing feature, the item you create can be up to fill up to a 10-foot space with a value of up to 400 gold pieces, period. The non-magical item you create can fill up to a 10-foot space with a value of up to 400 gold pieces. There. That's pretty liberal. That also, by the way, includes like a ballista. So you can make ballistas with this, and then you can make ammunition with it as well. So that's cool. Hey, what's up? Yeah, good. I'm 1, 2, 3. I'm content with that. All right, Grave Domain, that's a cheat. It's already been rebuilt for 24, but we do want to make sure that it is compliant with the color mana spell point variant rule system. So we're going to translate it. Knowledge is here. Grave is here. Cleric, Grave, Circle of Mortality. Huh. Let's see how this does. Oh, I don't like that at all. Cancel. That's just ugly. Yeah, no. Thanks. was an accident. Reopen, but go back. There we go. Ugh, I'm gonna have to write all this out. I didn't catch that there was a reanimator artificer. That's kind of fun. Hey, what's up? Like, if hit with the Searing Smite, you deal D8 fire damage increases to D10. So, a melee-focused cleric, but clerics are casters. I feel like you need to incorporate that. Like, if hit with the Searing Smite, your 1d8 fire damage. Nah, that's. I'm going to avoid that specifically because there isn't any kind of mechanics that exist inside the 5e game chassis that Wizards presented that does that. I don't think there's any instance of them upgrading dice like that. Re-rolling dice and taking the better results is something that would be something that they would pursue. But if we're talking about the Forge Cleric, they're all about fire and hitting shit with hammers. I think that's the thing that they're going with there. Grave Domain. Let's lay it out. Text so tiny. There. Bane, Chill Touch. Detect evil and good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why do you get 5 spells? You don't deserve that. Let's go to Death Domain. Death Ward, Phantasmal Killer, Animate Dead, Blindness, Gentle Repose. I'm taking away Gentle Repose from you. I'm replacing with Rain. Ooh, no. You get to keep Gentle Repose. You get Ray of Enfeeblement. Dr. Death. There. And then Revivify, Vampiric. I'm great with that. Revivify, Vampiric Touch, Blight, Dispel, Evil, and Good. Hold Monster. Raise Dead. So far so good, so what? Third variant, long titled feature. That is Circle of Mortality. I'm not happy with the title Circle of Mortality because druids have circles. If I start talking about Circle of Mortality, I'm starting to think of a druid that has control over life and death. So I think that's misflavored. Like Litany of Life and Death might be better. Litany of Mortality. All right, man. You go be dad. Cheers, all. Thanks for swinging by. You gain the ability to manipulate the balance between life and death, granting you the following benefits. You gain the following benefits. Full of death. Turn to life. Cool titles. Must return when you cast a spell or hit with an attack roll and deal damage to a bloodied creature. That creature takes an additional D4 necrotic damage. That makes a lot of sense. When you target a creature with an attack or spell that deals damage, that creature takes an extra 1d4 necrotic damage. When you would normally roll 1 or more dice to restore hit points to a creature at 0 points with a spell or channel divinity, you don't roll. Hold on. You don't roll those dice for the healing. Instead, use the highest number possible for each die. For example, instead of restoring 2d4 hit points to a creature at 0 hit points with a spell, you restore 8. Holy symbol, channel divinity. C hits a cursed target with an attack roll. You can end the curse to make the attack deal an extra necrotic or radiant damage. Huh. Yeah, that restore to life, that feels like a channel divinity feature to me. Oh, when you would normally roll 1 or more dice to restore hit points to a creature at 0 hit points. Got it. When you target a creature with an effect, when you target a creature with 0 at 0 hit points with an effect that heals, that restores hit points, instead of rolling that rolls dice to determine how many hit points are restored. When you target a creature at 0 hit points with an effect that rolls dice to determine how many hit points are restored, instead of rolling the maximum result of hit points are restored. Period. Then, Path to the Grave. Path to the Grave. As a bonus action, you present a holy symbol. Until the start of your next turn, while cursed, the creature has a disadvantage on attacks and saving throws. A channel, you can use channel divinity to curse a creature within 30 feet that you can see for one until the beginning. While cursed, has disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws. When you or an ally you can see hits the cursed target with an attack roll, you can end the curse early. In addition, when you or an ally you can see hits the cursed creature with an attack roll, you can end the curse early, no action required, to deal an additional 1d8 necrotic or radiant damage, your choice. Six. Divine Sentinel at death's door. What do you do? When you or a bloodied creature you can see within 30 feet of you is hit with an attack roll, you can take a reaction to halve the attack's damage. When you or a bloodied creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself is hit with an attack roll. Okay. When you... Is it 60 feet? You can see within 30 feet of yourself is hit with an attack roll. You can use your reaction to reduce the damage by half. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, minimum of once, and you can regain one use by expending 2 mana, no action required. Which means you can do it while, if you're out of them, while you're using your bonus, while you're using your reaction to use the feature. You can pop the 2 mana and spark it. There. And since it's basically warding bond for only 1 round as a reaction, 2 mana is good. Even though it's a 6th level spell, which would normally warrant a 3 mana expenditure, we're only making it 2. Because it's a reaction. It's a low cost reaction for something that's less than a 3rd level spell, but more than a shield. So, Divine Reaper. Path of the Grave, Sentinel at Doors, Divine Reaper. Sup? Your deep connection to this domain renders you a hallowed harbinger of death, granting you the following benefits. You gain the following benefits. Enhanced necromancy. And grave. When you cast a domain spell that targets one creature, you can expend a use of your channel divinity to target a second creature, within range of the spell. If the spell requires material components, you must have twice the material, twice the components to do so. And then Keeper of Souls goes like this. When an enemy dies within 60 feet of you, you or one creature you can see within 60 feet of yourself regains hit points equal to 3 times your cleric level. Jesus. You can't use this feature if you have the incapacitated condition. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest or expend 5 mana. Jeez, okay. When a creature within 60 feet of yourself, when a creature dies within 60 feet, when a creature dies within 60 feet of you, reaction? No? Just automatically? Wow, okay. When a creature dies within 60 feet of you, you can you or a creature you can see within 60 feet of yourself regain a number of hit points equal to 3 times your cleric level. You can use this feature once per long rest, regaining additional, and you can expend 5 mana to regain it sooner. By expending 5 mana, no action required. One, two, three. There we go. Okay, cool. That works. I'm content with that. Let's let it go. We're going to drop this off the menu. We're going to grab this. What's inside? College of the Moon. Knowledge domain. Well, let's grab some domain spells. There. Command. comprehend languages, detect magic, detect thoughts, identify spike growth. I can mind spike, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 spells, but 2 of them are rituals. 3 of them are rituals. So I think I'm okay with that. Identify, detect magic, comprehend languages. Yeah. 3 of those 6. Do you need command? I don't think so. I think they're overclocking it. We'll leave it be. Dispel magic, non-detection. Tongues, another ritual. Arcane Eye. Banishment. Confusion. Legend. Lore. Yeah, okay. I'm fine with them being generous here. Scrying. Snap. Tick. Static. What else you got? Sense of knowledge. You gain proficiency with any 2 types of artisan tools of your choice and in 2 of the following skills. You gain any 2 artisan tools and 2 of the following skills. Arcana, history, nature, or religion. You have expertise in 2 of these skills. Wow, that's really freaking good. So, what we're going to do for Channel Divinity. Mind Magic. As a magic action, you can expend 1 use of your Channel Divinity to manifest your magical knowledge. Choose 1 spell from the knowledge domain spell table that you have prepared. As part of that action, you can cast that spell without expending a spell slot or needing material components. Choose 1 spell from the knowledge domain spell table. As part of that action, you can cast that spell without expending a spell slot or needing material components. Okay, well now I do have a problem. We're gonna get rid of Jesus. Is Legend Lore a ritual? Shit, it's not. I don't like you. We allow you to expend 2 mana to get a use of your Channel Divinity back. I cannot have you spending 2 mana to cast Synaptic Static. I cannot have you spending 2 mana to cast Banishment. I cannot have you spending 2 mana to cast Confusion. Identify. Okay, we'll do it like this instead. Oh wait, wrong book. Mind Magic. Unfettered Mind. Divine Foreknowledge. Blessings of Knowledge. Mind Magic. No, you want? Fuck you. I'm going to just combine these. In addition, when you cast a spell on your domain spell list, you can, as a magic action, in addition, as a magic, no. In addition, when you cast a spell on your domain spell list, you can expend a use of Channel Divinity to replace In addition, when you cast a spell on your domain spell list, you can expend a use of Channel Divinity to cast the spell as a magic action without any material components. There we go. Chef's kiss. It takes care of Identify and Legend lore for certain. And it removes the ritual cost for, or the ritual casting for, well, you already did that with rituals. Yeah, I'm good with that. Unfettered Mind, cool. When you use this subtlety, you can simultaneously contact a mind. Number of creatures equals your wisdom modifier. Great. You gain out. You gain telepathy with a 60-foot range. You can equal to your wisdom modifier minimum of 1. Contact. Thank you, Timely Timer. So thank you. You can simultaneously contact a number of minds. Number of creatures. Thank you. Additionally, if the result of an intelligence check is lower than your wisdom score, you can use that instead of the total. Instead of the result. There, that works. 1, 2, and then 17 equals divine foreknowledge. Thank you. There, okay. Bonus action. For an hour, gaining advantage on D20 tests. You can use this feature once per long rest, and you can regain it, and you can regain it early by expending 5 mana. I know it says 6, but I think that's a mistake. 1, 2, 3. Cool. We can bail out of the UA. That was the only one, right? Yeah. All right, nature. So we got nature, order, peace, tempest, twilight. We only have 5 to go. And it's 7:30, so we've got some time. Less and less time, but we got time. Bonus domain spells. What you got? Animals. Oh, that's right. What else you got? Barkskin. Bark skin. Spike growth. Those are great spells. Plant. Growth. Wind. Wall. Dominate. Beast. Grasping vines, is that a thing? Yeah. Grasping vine. Insect plague. Tree stride. Jesus, concentration, that's awesome. Nature. Love it. Love it. Acolyte of Nature. First level, learn one druid cantrip of your choice. This cantrip counts as a cleric cantrip for you, but it doesn't count against the number of cantrips you know. You also gain proficiency. Why would you gain proficiency in heavy armor? That makes no fucking sense. No, I'm skipping that. Acolyte of Nature. Choose one druid cantrip to add to your list of known cantrips. It counts as a in addition, you gain proficiency in the skills animal handling, nature, and survival. And channel divinity feature equals charm animals and plants. Charm animals and plants. As a magic action, you can use channel divinity 2 as a magic action, you can use channel divinity to target any number of beasts or plant creatures that you can see that can see you within 30 feet of yourself. To force any number of beasts or plant creatures that you can see within that can see you within that you can see within 30 feet of yourself to make a wisdom saving throw. If the creature fails, it's saved. If a creature fails, any creature that fails is charmed by you for 1 minute or until it takes damage. While it's charmed by you, it is friendly to you and other creatures you designate. 1, 2. Okay, cool. 6. Dampen elements. Dampen elements. A lot of these things just resolve themselves. Most of these are pretty easy. When you or a creature within 30 feet of you takes acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage, you can use your reaction to grant resistance to that creature against that instance. You can use your reaction to grant resistance to that creature. many times can I use this? Oh, any amount. That instance of damage. You can use your reaction to grant resistance to that damage. That's good enough, I think. No, we're not going to give you fucking Divine Strike. Master of Nature. Wild creatures. Wild creatures are charmed by your charm animals and plants feature. You can take a bonus action on your turn to verbally command what each of those creatures will do on its next turn. And take a bonus action on your turn to really command any number of these creatures. All creatures are charmed by your charm penalty. You can take a bonus action on your turn to verbally command what action one or all of these creatures take during their next turn. Any number of these creatures to verbally command what action any number of these creatures take during their next turn. 1, 2, 3. Order domain, 4 to go. 740. We're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good. Really looking forward to doing some more painting tonight. I'm excited. I'm excited about every day coming back with more of that painting done in the morning. I just love it. I'm excited about painting. Bonus domain spells. I haven't been this excited about painting in quite some time. I'm actually really happy I'm in this space. I'm almost like I don't want to work on spells. That's crazy. Command. God damn, everyone gets command. Command, heroism. Command, heroism. What else you got? Hold person, zone of truth. Mass healing word, slow. Compulsion. Locate creature. Commune and dominate person. Thank you. Cool. 1, 2. All right, let's see what you got. Domain spells, bonus proficiencies, voice of authority. Word. Oh, this is the Ravnica. The Ravnica domain. No wonder it reads so familiar. Yeah, Divine Strike for everybody, huh? It's just blanket across the board. Everyone gets Divine Strike. I am not happy with that. You got rid of it. You got rid of it. Path of the Grave, that's okay. Wait. Grave domain. Yeah, additional D8 fire damage. I'm okay with that. One D8 necrotic damage. That's enough. $17, 6, 3, 3. Restore hit points. Hit points. Good. Okay, cool. Yeah, we can just get rid of that 8th level feature. That's just... it is unnecessary. Orders demand. As a magic action, you can expend a use of Channel Divinity to target any number of creatures within 30 feet of yourself to make a wisdom saving throw. If a creature fails, it is charmed. End of your next turn. While charmed, you can order the creature to drop anything it is holding. Voice of Authority. You can invoke the power of law embodied in the attack ally if you cast a spell slot at first level or higher. The target ally's spell, that ally can use their reaction. Oh, neat. When you expend mana to cast a spell that targets one or more allies, you can one of them can choose one ally. It can use a reaction to make a weapon attack against a creature you choose that both you and your ally can see. 6. Embodiment of law. You can change the spellcasting time to 1 bonus action for this casting. What? All right, let's copy this and see where this goes. If you cast a spell, we don't have enchantment schools in the color mana system, so if you cast a spell, no. Let's see. Command, heroism, hold person, zone of truth. If you cast a spell on your domain spell list, with a casting of 1 action. If you cast a spell on your domain spell list with a casting time of 1 action, you can instead cast it as a bonus action. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. And you can gain expended uses when you finish a long rest. You can use additional, you can use this feature, you can use this feature again when you expend 2 mana, no action required. You can regain a use of this feature and you can regain a use of this feature when you expend 2 mana, no action required, period. It's basically quicken spell. Two. It's a good one though. Order's Wrath. Hold on. I'm thinking. Order's Wrath. Embodiment of the law. Order's Demand. As a magic action, when you expend a use of divinity to target any number of creatures within 30 feet. This way. If you deal your divine strike damage to a creature on your turn, you can curse that creature until the start of your next turn. The next time one of your allies hits the cursed creature with an attack, the target also takes 2d8 psychic damage and the curse ends. You can curse a creature this way only once per turn. Jesus. All right. When you creatures you target when casting you can curse a creature this way only once per turn. The next time, until the start of your next turn. There it is. When you use hold on. Let's do it like this. As a bonus action, you can expend a use of Channel Divinity to target any number of creatures within 30 feet of yourself to make a Wisdom saving throw. If the creature fails, it is charmed by you until the end of your next turn or until it takes damage. While charmed, you can order the creature to drop anything it is holding. And then, when a creature is charmed by your order's demand, when a creature is charmed by your order's demand feature, you or while a creature is charmed by your order's demand feature, the next attack that damages the charmed creature deals an additional 2d8 necrotic damage. While a creature is charmed by your order's demand feature, the next attack that damages hits the charmed creature. The next attack that hits the charmed creature deals an additional 2d8 necrotic damage. I like that. I like that a lot. Peace, Tempest, Twilight. There's only 3 to go, and it's 8 o'clock. I'm going to take a sip of water here real quick. Actually, I'm going to put some water in my cup. I'm going to be right back for the last leg of this. We're looking pretty good, team. Really, really good. I think I'll actually be able to finish this tonight. And we can move on to Bards tomorrow at lunchtime. I'm really happy about that. Hold on here real quick. I'm just putting some fresh water in my cup. Uh-oh. BRB! BRB! Back at it, my guys. Back at it. That's satisfying. In the domain spells. What are we looking at? Peace. Peace, 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 peace. Heroism, Sanctuary. Beacon of Hope. Sending, sure, why not? Aura of Purity. Resilient Sphere. Such a great spell. Greater Restoration. Raries. Telepathic Bond. These are all great spells. 1, 2. And Emboldening Bond. Let's go with Balm of Peace first. Balm of Peace. And then Emboldening Bond. Use your turn to make your presence as an action. As a magic action, you can expend a use of your Channel Divinity to move up to your speed without provoking an attack of opportunity. And when you move within 5 feet of any other creature during this action, you can restore a number of hit points that to that creature equal to 2d6 plus your wisdom modifier, minimum of 1. A creature can receive this healing only once whenever you take this action. I like that. I think that's cool. 1, 2. Yeah. Let's go with Emboldening Bond. Copy, paste, copy, paste. As an action, you choose a number of wounding creatures within 30 feet of you. Including yourself. Create a magical bond among them for 10 minutes or until you use this feature again. While any bonded creature is within 30 feet of another, the creature can roll 1d4 and add number rolled to an attack. While any bonded creature is within 30 feet of another, the creature can roll d4 and add the number rolled to an attack roll, to a d20 test, to any d20 test, to any d20 test, to any d20 test. Each creature can add the d20 and the d4 more than once per turn. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus and regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest, or expend 2 mana. Nah, we're not going to give you extra uses. Choose a number of willing creatures within 30 feet of you. You create a magical bond among them for 10 minutes, or until you use this feature again. While any bonded creature is within 30 feet of another, Each creature can add the D4 no more than once per turn. Okay. So you can use that as part of a saving throw off your turn, and you can use it as part of an ability check during your turn. Oy vey, that's a good one. I guess I'm okay with it. Emboldening Bond. Let's see. As an action, you choose a number of willing creatures within 30 feet of yourself, including yourself, equal to your proficiency bonus. You can choose a number of willing creatures within 30 feet of yourself. Up to your max spell level gained as a cleric. As an action, you can tap a number of mana up to your max. No, I don't like that. You can choose a number of willing creatures within. You can choose a number of willing creatures within 30 feet of yourself, including yourself, equal to your Wisdom modifier. Wisdom modifier. Minimum of 1. To create a magical bond with you. That lasts 10 minutes. Or until you use this feature again. While a bonded is within 30 feet of you, that creature, while a bonded creature is within 30 feet of you, it can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to any d20 test. Use this feature a number of times. You can use this feature once. I want to throw concentration on this really badly. Because it's like a good version of Bless. And Bless is a concentration spell. Shit. Nah. To create a magical bond that lasts, to create a magical bond with you that lasts 10 minutes or until you use this feature again. You can choose a number of willing creatures within 30 feet of you equal to your wisdom modifier, minimum of 1. To create a magical bond with you that lasts 10 minutes or until you use this feature again. While a bonded creature is within 30 feet of you. How long does Bless last? If Bless lasts an hour, having this restore for 2 mana is totally reasonable. Bless. One minute concentration. As an action, you can choose a number of willing creatures within 30 feet of you equal to your wisdom modifier, minimum, to create a magical bond with you. As an action, or until you use this feature again. While bonded creatures within 30 feet of you, it can roll a d4 and add that number rolled to any d20 test. Each creature can add the d4 no more than once per turn. To create a magical bond with you, as a level 2 concentration effect. While bonded creatures within 30 feet of you, it can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to any d20 test. Each creature can add the d4 no more than once per turn. You can use this feature once, regaining it when you finish a short or long rest, and you can regain 1 use by expending, and you can regain it when you expend 2 mana. No action required. There. Now, Bless is a concentration, first level concentration spell. This is now a second level concentration spell that has a broader, that has generally more creatures and more effects than the Bless spell. But otherwise, it's just a hyped up version of Bless. You can choose the number of ruined creatures while a bonded creature. While bonded, you and any while this effect is maintained, you and any bonded creature within 30 feet of you, while this effect is maintained, you and any bonded creature within 30 feet of you can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to any d20 test. Each creature can add d4 no more than once per turn. There you go. That works. Now it costs you 2 to get it back. It requires concentration, DC 12. That feels like a good effect. Level 6. Protective bond. Okay, let's mark that off. When a creature affected by your emboldening bond feature is about to take damage, when a creature affected by your emboldening bond feature is about to take damage, you can use your reaction to teleport to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of the first creature. When a creature affected by your emboldening bond feature is about to take damage, you can use your reaction to teleport to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of it and take all the damage instead. Very simple feature. And then 17. Expansive bond. You're all about the bonds, ain't you, baby? Expansive bond. It's all about the bond. The range of your emboldening bond feature increases to 60 feet. And when you use the protective bond feature, you have resistance to the damage taken. This damage cannot disrupt concentration. Like that. All the damage and any conditions all the damage instead, but any conditions or other effect still targets the still affects the target creature. But the targeted creature still suffers any other effects from the source of damage. The damage cannot be disrupted. And this damage can't disrupt your concentration. 1, 2. That makes a lot of sense to me. Bonus. Domain spells. Hey, we're already down into the Tempest. We're doing good. We're doing really good. 2 to go, 40 minutes. Is it possible for us to crack out one domain per 20 minutes? Let's find out together. But first, let's refresh our music. Outlasted our music. Tempest. Fog Cloud. Thunder Wave. Gust of Wind. Shatter. Call Lightning. Sleet Storm. Control Water. Ice Storm. Destructive Wave. Insect Plague. Let me verify Control Water. Insect Plague. Destructive Wave. Fourth level. Ice Storm. Sleet Storm, Call Lightning. Thank you. Sleet Storm. Call Lightning. Very good. All right. 1, 2. 2. What's next? Destructive Wrath. And then Wrath of the Storm. These are horribly unimaginative names we see rolling out here. Huh. First level, you can thunderously rebuke attackers when a creature within 5 feet of you that you can see you with an attack. You can use your reaction to cause the creature to make a dexterity saving throw. The creature takes 2d8 lightning or thunder damage. Nah. Let's go with Wrath. Let's go with, yeah, in this instance, I think Wrath of the Storm should be first. When you deal damage with an attack or cantrip, you can deal thunder, you can deal lightning or thunder damage instead of the listed damage type, period. Destructive Wrath. When you deal lightning or thunder damage, you can use Channel Divinity to deal maximum damage instead of rolling. When you deal lightning or thunder damage, instead of instead of rolling dice to deal maximum damage. Period. Is that too good? When you deal lightning or thunder damage with your Wrath of the Storm feature, instead of rolling damage dice, you can use Channel Divinity. You can use Channel Divinity to deal maximum damage. Instead of, period. That's fair, because it's going to be a cantrip or a weapon attack. When you deal damage with a weapon attack or cantrip, you can deal lightning or thunder damage instead of the listed damage type. There it is. There, that puts some sensible limitations on how it can be used, or how much you can ramp damage into it. Level 6. Thunderbolt Strike, huh? When you deal thunder... Nope. Thunderbolt Strike. When you deal thunder damage to a creature, you can push that. You can push it directly away from you up to. You can push it up to 10 feet directly away from you. Period. And then Stormborn. It's the flying speed. You gain a flying speed equal to your current walking speed whenever you are not underground or indoors. While indoors or underground, to use this feature, you must concentrate as though the effect is a level 3 spell. Outdoors, free. Indoors, you have to maintain concentration on it. It has a 3rd level spell, which is equal to the fly spell, which is what you would concentrate on if you wanted to fly. You only get 2. because it's not as fast as the fly spell. Well, let's double check that. Let's just make sure. Jesus, we're almost done. Fly. There it is. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Fly. You touch a willing creature for the duration of the turn. It has fly speed of 60 feet and can hover. Spell ends. The target fails if it's still aloft until it's. It can stop. There. You gain a flying speed equal to your current walking speed while indoors or underground. To use this feature, you must concentrate as though the effect is a level 1 spell. Because you don't have hover, which is amazing, and you don't have a 60-foot movement speed. It's just your walking speed. So we're gonna drop from 3rd level down to 1st level because you're 17th level already. But we're taxing you because it's an indoor-outdoor issue. Easy enough. I could cast it as a cantrip. You must concentrate as though the effect is a cantrip. Let's do that. If you have a cantrip active, the difficulty to maintain concentration on it is a 10. If you're maintaining multiple cantrips, the first one is 10, and for every additional cantrip or point of mana that you spend adds a +1 to it. So essentially, you can maintain concentration on a cantrip. If you're already maintaining concentration on something, you can maintain that one cantrip for free, kind of as a rider to you maintaining the spell that you're already maintaining. Or you can stack up, like for instance, a 19th level bard could have 11 instances by expending and tapping. Well, by tapping, here's simple mana. Okay, so simple mana is usually like with is usually like a ritual that you would instead of spending the time to cast a ritual, you can just cast it as an action, but it becomes a concentration effect, and it stays active for however long you maintain concentration. If your concentration is disrupted, you lose the mana as usual. You're basically putting it up as a bid. If you end the effect without losing concentration, you get the mana back. So you untap the mana. Cantrips work the same way. If you're maintaining concentration on multiple cantrips, you have to start tapping down mana to sustain a bunch of them. But as long as no one screws up your concentration, you can just untap all that mana when you're done. So a 19th level bard could have 11 instances of minor illusion active at the same time, maintaining concentration, all of them, with a difficulty. The DC of that concentration check is going to be 19. So if all you're doing is, if all you are is up on stage and performing and no one's messing with you, then you can maintain, there's nothing that, unless it's an unnaturally long performance, you should be able to get through like an hour-long set without having to worry about your concentration being busted. But at 19th level, you have up to 10th level spell slots. So you tap down 10 mana, plus you get the free cantrip, the bonus free cantrip. So 10 plus 1, a total of 11 cantrip effects at the same time. This could be like minor illusion, dancing lights, prestidigitation, elementalism, like any number of cantrip effects you can have active all at once. And again, the higher level you are, the more you can ramp it. So it lets you do really, really cool, just visual stuff. Hey, can I, it's like, hey, this is like a nothing burger thing. Can I like have multiple instances of minor illusion up and active at the same time? Typically, no, it's going to have a very limited duration. Like it goes away, you can't sustain a bunch of them. But with this, you can tap them and leave them on for however long your performance is going, and have just a myriad array of just different stuff that's all happening while you're doing your normal performance. So it just really leans into that theatrical use of cantrips to just ramp shit up a lot. Anyway, that's the idea. One, two, three. Twilight Domain, the last domain to go, and then we'll be done for the night. That means that when we come back tomorrow morning, or not tomorrow morning, tomorrow morning we're going to do artwork. Tomorrow at lunchtime, typically around 2 o'clock, we do lunch. And since we're finishing the cleric domains, we're going to do bards. We're going to start in on bards tomorrow. We've already done the 2024 subclasses for bard. Now we're going to go back through and we're going to take care of all the Forsaken 2014 Bard subclasses, just like we're doing with Cleric here now. And then we'll have Warlock next week. It'll probably take through Monday. Monday night and possibly Tuesday lunch next week to take care of the Bard. And then we'll have the Warlock. And then at that point, I think everything is done. We'll see. So, oh shit. Twilight Domain. Oh yeah, Trickery Domain's already done. That's right. That's one of the chosen class. That's one of the chosen domains. So let's get past Trickery and let's get into Twilight. Fairy Fire Sleep. Five is Aura of Vitality. Leo ones. Tiny hut. Aura of Life. A lot of auras going on over here. Greater Invisibility. Circle of Power. Mislead. Those are fun. What you got? I want to see what you got. Eyes of the Night and Vigilant Blessings. Eyes of the Night. You can see through the deepest gloom. You can magically share this vision with willing creatures you can see within 10 feet of you, up to the number of creatures equal to your wisdom modifier. No. Hold on. Channel Divinity, Twilight Sanctuary. Jesus, how much shit do you get? Original Blessing, Eyes of the Night. Night has taught you to be vigilant. As an action, you give one creature you touch advantages on the next initiative roll the creature takes. Yeah, you don't need that. As a magic action, you can grant Dark Vision 60-foot range. I know it says 120 foot. Fuck you. 60 feet's plenty. As a magic action, you can grant Dark Vision 60 feet range to yourself and a number of creatures equal to your wisdom modifier, minimum of 1. This effect is your wisdom modifier. And you regain it when you... This effect lasts until you finish a long rest. And you regain... This effect lasts until you finish a long rest. You can use this feature once per long rest. Or you can regain it by expending 2 mana, period. No action required. Channel Divinity, Twilight Sanctuary. As a magic action, you can use Channel Divinity to create a sphere of twilight that emanates from you in a 30-foot radius. Filled with dim light. Or until you are incapacitated or die. Whenever a creature, including you, ends its turn in the sphere, you can grant that creature one of these benefits. You can grant temporary hit points equal to D6 plus your cleric level. Whenever a creature, including you, ends its turn in the sphere, you can grant that creature one of these benefits. You grant it temporary hit points equal to D6 plus your cleric level. You end one effect on it. Yeah, I'm good with that. Good enough. Yeah, level 6. Twilight Druid's cool. This is great for the Spelljammer combat and exploration system that I have, because your character pilots can choose to take damage for the ship, and if you're resistant to the damage, or if you have temporary hit points, it's all the same. Like warding bond, all like barbarians resistant, all that stuff works. So when you take damage for the ship, it's transferred to the pilot, and then the pilot can be healed by themselves if they want, or as a sidekick, like a co-pilot cleric or like a co-pilot healer. And having Twilight Sanctuary in the helm of your ship allows the pilot to constantly refresh temporary hit points so that you can take more barrages of damage from siege weapons that are hitting your ship. If it's a small enough fighter craft in a 30-foot globe, you can actually envelop the entire fighter craft in darkness. Just to have this unseeable dark, it's dim light inside. So with the backdrop of black space being dim in general, also, your ship is almost effectively invisible. It would be very difficult to spot, and you have this healing capacity going on. It's yeah, Spelljammer is fucking cool, man. I love designing that book. It is so intense. We're going to get back to the Mecha Kaiju book, as well as the subclasses, the Spelljammer subclasses book that we had been designing. We started designing those like maybe 6 months ago. I set them down for other projects, but I will be getting back to them, and we're going to be playtesting the Mecha Kaiju rules in a Spelljammer version of Storm King's Thunder, probably in February. So we're going to be running this mega dungeon for martial powers through 10th level, probably until August. And then we're going to switch to playing Strixhaven, making Strixhaven athletes to compete levels 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 20. And then after we run through that, like, we'll probably do like each level per month and just do a number of matches as our playtesting sessions. And then once we get through the martial power Strixhaven matches, I suspect that'll be in February. So like September, October, 13, 15, 17, 19, 20. September, October, November, December, January. And then February, that'll be over in February. Then we can start the Storm King's Thunder Mecha Kaiju campaign. So that's going to be fucking cool. I will be sharing, I will be spending stream time with you guys developing Storm King's Thunder as a Spelljammer Mecha campaign. So we'll do that here together on stream, so you can see how that build process goes. And that's really cool. So we're gonna do that. Okay, back on task. Twilight Sanctuary. We're almost done. Level 6. Step of the night. 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 Now you can give yourself flying speed when you're in your bubble of darkness. As a bonus action, when you are in dim light or darkness, you can magically give yourself a flying speed equal to your walking speed for 1 minute. You can use this bonus action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. You can regain 1 use by expending 2 mana, no action required. Yeah. With hover. Two, and then look at that, we're almost done. Twilight Shroud. The twilight that you summon offers a protective embrace. You and your allies have half cover while in the sphere created by your Twilight Sanctuary. Bam! Hey, cool, we did it. We got all the cleric subclasses done. Cleric is done from tip to tip. All of it is now officially resolved. All of Druid is officially resolved. All of Sorcerer is officially resolved. All of Wizard is officially resolved. Barbarian, Fighter, Monk, Rogue, Ranger, Paladin, Artificer. The only 2 left, I believe, is Bard and Warlock that we need to look at Forsaken classes. Otherwise, this stuff is all done. So we're gonna step away from ye old cleric. And oh no, yeah, we got some work to do here on the Bard. We got work to do. It looks like we had the full scaffold for the for the class taken care of. 2, 5, 7, 9, 10, 18, 19, 20. 2, 5, 7, 9, 10, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, so the full Bard scaffold is in place already. And looks like we've only touched on subclass features a little bit. 3, 6, yeah, 3. Yeah, we got some work to do. So okay, great. So let's just look at a little bit of prep here. Going back. Let's grab this here. Let's go to classes. Obviously, there's the 4 subclasses. We need to flesh those out. So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow at lunch. Get the Bard subclass, the 2024 Bard subclasses squared away, and then dipping down into the 2014 Forsaken Bard classes. There are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 4 of them are in the PHB. So that means that 3 of them aren't. That probably means that we'll be able to resolve Bard Monday night and then dive into the Warlock. So we might actually, and I think the Warlock subclass, 2024 subclasses are all done. So we're getting dangerously close to this entire thing being resolved. Yes, that's awesome. That's where we want to be at. Okay, cool. So when we finish all the subclasses, we're gonna do 2 things. The next 2 things on our block for the color mana system and the martial power system is start resolving the rules for Mage Tower so that we can run tournaments for playtesting the martial power system with that. And the other thing we want to do is flesh out the piety benefits for the 15 gods of Theros, so we can lock down the piety system for the MTG conversion work that we're doing. We've already resolved Strixhaven. We've already resolved Ravnica using Ravnica's Renown and the college credit system that we developed for Strixhaven that mirrors both Renown and piety. So we'll have the piety system. We haven't fleshed any of that out. I gotta say, of all the MTG stuff out there, Theros Gods is probably my weakest. So I've been putting off working on this because I know it's going to require time and attention and effort to learn. I've never been interested in gods. I don't care. We were talking about this earlier. My preference is generally in D&D is for clerics and stuff to worship elementals as either animus spirits or like arch elementals that just have personal realms that you basically devote yourself to, like a warlock or an oath. Sort of the same thing. So I've never really given much of a shit about gods in any D&D campaign. I just like elemental worship. I think that's cool. So it creates a pretty big disconnect in personality type with clerics with me. I'd say that's a hole in my skill set. If I had one, is it's not leaning into deities at all. So anyway, that's it for now, guys. I'm going to bounce out of here. Tomorrow morning, we're going to come back. We're going to continue working on the Eberron page art for the adventure that we'll be publishing on DMsGuild. And then tomorrow at lunchtime, like around 2 o'clock Seattle time, like 5 o'clock Eastern time, we'll spend an hour, again, working on the Bard subclasses. And then we'll finish Bard subclasses Monday night. And then starting on the Warlocks. Work on Warlocks on Tuesday. And I've got some vacation time coming up this time next week. I think Friday I have off. I might have Thursday off. I've got a slew of days off next week, at the end of next week and at the beginning of the following week, like from I want to say like from the 15th to the 21st, something like that. So I've got some time coming up for us to play. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. All right, guys, that's it for now. I'm out of here. I'll be back tomorrow morning, hopefully bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and hope to see some of you guys then too. Like, subscribe. See you then. Bye.